Hello everyone, welcome back to Springrealms, here on this wonderful, very sunny day inside of the server. So we have a special guest creeping around a little bit.
Hey!
Hey Dragon, so people will recognize you, I think, from way back in the Carpenter Station days, if they've been on the channel for a while.
Oh, those were the days.
Yeah, back when you
man.
back when you wore a fedora, as I recall.
I still have it, it's just catching dust in the background, that's all it's doing now.
Yeah, it's been ruined for me as well. But more recently, they'll of course know you for Dungeons and Dragon hats.
Yes, that's why I was hiding as well. I was afraid there was going to be a nat 1 rolling somewhere.
Oh, no, we don't have dice rolling around here very much. But, yeah, you wanted to come and check out just what sheer lunacy goes on this Patron server.
Yeah, I mentioned it on one of the streams where you host the D&D streams that we do. Well, the actual game anyway, I host the server, but anyway, we're not going to get into that. But yeah, I'm interested because I can't constantly keep hearing about it. So give me a tour.
Okay, well, how much do you know about the lore?
The lore? Oh, there's lore?
Of course there's lore, let's be honest, it's me.
That's true. I should not expect... Okay, can you please explain the lore behind the cow over there then, please?
Yeah, the devoted soul. This is a bit of a story. Suffice to say, we had animals wandering around, and then one of them was just hanging out here in this particular spring, and this spring has significance, with a capital S. So there was the joke that it was a very devoted soul, so it just now hangs around here as sort of a mascot.
Eternally being hung.
I don't know where the lead came from, it usually just gets teleported to the whereabouts, but no. But, yeah, the lore. So it basically starts out that there was a dozen gods, 12 of them. And one of them, Akinum the Waterbringer, created this, the Spring of Souls, from which all, souled beings, emerge. But
you gained a spirit!
Oh yeah, that's a lovely little system. So, a lot of, the systems, a lot of the server's mechanics work on spirit totals, which you get from springs like these. And another god, Placitos the Enlightened, because I went massive nerdery on this, looked into the spring and had a vision of destroyers that would come out and just ruin everything. Almost nobody else believed him, except for Basilla the Firm and Erinus the Evergreen, who are, basically the immovable object and the nature deity.
Right.
So nobody else believed them, so they plotted in secret to create a poison that they would put into the spring and destroy all of the spirits inside of it, so that the destroyers would never emerge.
Oh. Okay.
Unfortunately, Placitos had a sibling by the name of Philippos the All-Watching, and they were ambushed here at the spring.
Oh.
Every single one of the gods died in this ambush.
Oh, well,
Which is why you will see, red stone and red blocks around here. That's actually, stains of God's blood.
Oh.
But millennia pass, and then the first players pop out of the spring. And that's where the server begins, basically.
Ooh. Sweet.
So the first thing the players generally do is they hike up this little hill over to see an interesting character who as yet has had no explanation for who or what the hell he is. Because up here we have Morganth.
Okay.
And Morganth is sort of our current and only, quest, but he's the starting quest. And he walks you through a little system to make sure that you can get your first brew of etherealness, which is what allows you to go into spirit form.
I got his spade.
Yep, so now he wants you to dig up free sand, which you can do at a number of locations around here. There's a couple of special locations where the sand respawns, but the closest one's just over here. And people have done this a lot, suffice to say.
Yes, I'm not surprised.
It was very funny on the first day the server opened, because at that stage, we hadn't worked out all of the kinks. So, consequently, that meant that there was some weirdness going on.
Good. Okay. Find somewhere nearby with extreme heat.
Yes. So if you look vaguely through the ground, you can see a little spark of red just underneath it.
Oh, I see. I got it.
Yeah, it's a fire charge.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah, did I forget to mention this is a Skylands?
Yes, yeah. You kinda did, yeah.
Well, unfortunately, the god of motion and whatnot is long dead, and things are a little bit borked as a consequence.
Okay, so how do I get down to the hot place?
You take the waterfall.
Of course I do. I appreciate the irony in that. Oh, okay. That's so cool. Love that.
Yeah.
Alright, down I go.
Okay, and about here. Should be safe. And in you go to find the hot place, where there's some more little dialogue for you.
I got glass!
Yep. So,
Yay!
so now the question is, how do you craft that into a potion bottle? Well, we go right back to Morgamp's hut once again, where there's another little special feature for just that kind of occasion.
Okay, I am actually gonna game mode my way out of this one. Even better, admin sheets.
Well, if you're getting the guided tour, you might as well have admin sheets.
Ah, there you go. What do you think of that?
So now your little bottles there should actually have some lore text on them as well.
Oh, right, yeah. Toss into the spring of souls and receive your reward. Okay.
So this is just literally the starting quest that gets people to grips with how this whole thing works.
I like it. I like it. I love these kind of quests.
Oh yeah.
So just toss it in, or?
Yep, just chuck it into the water.
Eh.
And leave it for a few seconds and it'll turn into something else. And that is done entirely with command blocks.
Good lord.
Which is actually a system I need to majorly revamp, but yeah.
It's impressive what you can do with command blocks. I have not dabbled in them because I am not a coder in any way. But that's awesome. I drank it.
And you are now a spirit. You are free to flit around more or less as you please. But only for about 20 seconds.
Oh god. Get down! Oh, I can see who's on the server.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I can also go underground.
Yeah, you have the admin tag, which means you can bypass the no-clip restrictions. But yeah, spirit basically translates to number of seconds you can spend in spirit form, but there's a bunch of other things as well. So, something that we have over here is actually the first campfire, which you know Dark Souls, right, I guess?
Yes, I am aware.
Yeah, in Dark Souls there's the bonfires, where you can basically respawn. In Springrealms, a spirit from the Spring of Souls is made of water by Akinum and fire by Moriboka. So, consequently, they're a sort of steam little thing, hence the particles. And because they're partially fire, they can bind to the campfires.
Okay.
So, that allows people to set their spawn day or night just by tossing an ethereal brew at it.
Oh,
You have mounted the campfire.
I have mounted the campfire.
Okay, so I have this handy little book of gateways here, so we're gonna go check out the first spawn island, which was, like, where everybody was day one.
Alright. Oh!
That's part of the new magic system that's coming up very soon. So day one, everybody, like, was dying heavily next to this particular spring, so consequently it is the most heavily fortified by miles.
Yeah.
But Bacilla...
Also keep your crops here.
Yeah, well, we were tight for space, more or less. So, Bacilla the Firm was, like, the god of architecture and crafting and, like, fortification. So there were two, like, big towers here initially when everybody got here, and then for a while the place was barren of the forest until people started replanting a bit more.
Okay, alright.
So this was the first... Yeah, basically there are...
Have you built all this, or is it, like, have the other people helped build this?
I built the original towers, like, the two that are over here, and have been slightly occupied by other people. But pretty much everything else has been built entirely by the players themselves. So...
Sweet.
Consequently, there is just madness, to say the least, around here.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
Oh yeah. So basically the way that this works is that there are 12 different home islands, of which we have thus far unlocked 3, because a new one unlocks every time a dungeon is beaten for the first time. And those don't regenerate at all, so they're sort of like places that you can build your house and not worry that it'll be gone the next time you log on.
Right.
And then there's, I think it's about 36 or so different resource islands, which are sort of like little places that you can go, and there's just like a lump of resources that you can dig out. So the first one that everyone started affectionately referring to as Iron Island is just over here. And it's worth noting, only the island itself here originally existed. The entire platform and whatnot beneath it is entirely man-made.
Oh, okay.
But let me see, what else have we got on this level? We got the Egg is another one, which is nearby to...
The Egg?
Yeah, which has like its own settlement around it called Eggville.
Of course.
And then I think there's the less settled Taurus as well, which, suffice to say, people come up with some very interesting names for these places.
Yeah, really, yeah, I noticed. Okay,
so over here we can see the first bridge, and bridges became a popular thing, suffice to say.
Yeah, I imagine they would.
Although hopefully with the magic system coming up, people will be able to make those gates that I summoned there, so there'll be less reason to do so. Hopefully. Because they're convenient, but they're a bit of an eyesore.
Yeah.
But if we just follow the road and turn to the right, we arrive at the Corrupted Fortress, which was the very first dungeon. And it was no small feat to build this entire thing by me lonesome, pretty much. But inside we've got special mechanics, so we've got turrets that respawn, we've got silverfish traps, we've got the unthings, which are sort of like AoE wither zombies.
Oh, God.
And we also have, I think thus far, the only example of a fully command block driven boss, who unfortunately has not respawned by the looks of it just yet.
Think I lost you.
Let me... Flip. There we go.
Oh, okay, right.
So yeah, here's the boss room for this particular dungeon.
So once one of these is defeated, that's it. It's done.
No, they do respawn, but when they're defeated for the first time, the world border expands.
Ah,
and that gives you access to another home island, the next dungeon, and a whole new batch of different resource islands.
Damn.
So the first 4 tiers, basically, the first 4 dungeons, you don't have access to anything besides iron. After that, you have access to gold for another 4 tiers, and right at the end of it, you get diamond.
That's really cool.
Oh, yeah.
I really like that idea. Wish more servers did that.
Yeah, so we defeated this dungeon when it first opened, and then that gave us access to Moriboka. So let me make ourselves a new little portal. So this was Moriboka's home island.
Alright.
And this one obviously is a mesa, which was a little less inhabited. I think people were a bit nervous about leaving their home island way over at Basilla. But nonetheless, this has a dedicated cadre of residents. And the dungeon for Moriboka became interesting.
Okay. How so?
I don't quite recall what the coordinates for this one are off the top of my head, so we're going to have to use the buttons, which means going down into the bedrock box, or as the title would have it be called, the Machinery of the Gods.
I have seen that Machinery of Gods.
Oh yeah.
Not even sure the gods themselves could manifest that.
Okay, so I want button 2. There we go.
Oh yeah, of course your name's different on here, isn't it?
Teeny bit, yeah. So, here we have the Cold Forge. So Moriboka was basically the blacksmith god.
Alright.
God of Fire, also known as the Furious. So, the chief enemy in here is fully customized and is called Furnace Drakes.
Okay.
And this is sort of its own kind of utility dungeon, because you go through, you do a whole bit of rigmarole, and you can relight this kiln. And then from there, you can shove in about, I think, 53 blocks of iron, and you get a special loot drop.
Ooh, okay.
Which is not something that, which is like something that has attributes and enchantments that make it impossible to get outside of this place, basically.
Ah, okay.
And then inside we have Brimstone, the Blaze, who has thankfully respawned, so we can see him.
Hello.
And this guy wrecked people because we don't have access to potions yet, so they don't have any resilience to fire.
Oh, right.
And of course he's not a regular Blaze, because he's got all of his different command block abilities as well. And that is...
Okay.
Yeah, that's just like Dungeon 2 as well. We have it pretty much on the books that Dungeon 1 is going to get completely rebuilt at some stage, but not quite now. But beating Brimstone got us access to Erinus, the Evergreen.
Ooh.
Who, if you remember from me talking in the start there, is one of the 3 that tried to poison the well.
Oh. How dare they?
Thing is, Erinus has a complicated backstory, because there is access to enchanted books right now through fishing. But I've gone into the loot tables, and every single one of those books has lore text on it. So the lore text for the Blast Protection enchant is basically something that Erinus made a mistake and tried to make up for it.
Oh, okay.
Because Erinus is responsible for making creepers.
What's that? Oh, creepers. Oh, sorry.
You haven't been out of Minecraft that long.
I thought you said creep us. Like, hey?
So yeah, people definitely enjoyed this island so far. We do have, I think it's a Mega Tiger is the next home island.
Oh, so okay. So how many dungeons are you up to now then?
We are currently up to 2, and our next one is opening within like a week from now.
Oh, okay.
And that is the last place, I think, to visit on our trip here. So if I go back to the Bedrock box, I can teleport back to that particular dungeon. And every single time I've made one of these so far, I've tried to push my limits a little bit. So,
yeah, I noticed.
Yeah, so the first one, it was very, like, straightforward. It was, here is, like, a bunch of rooms, like an old RPG kind of map, that kind of thing. And honestly,
yeah.
I don't think I did a very good job with that one. The second dungeon was Moriboka's, and I tried to be a lot more vertical, and I tried to have, like, fewer rooms leading to rooms leading to rooms.
Yeah.
And in this one, I've basically done away with rooms.
Yeah, there are no rooms. I don't see any rooms.
Yeah, so this is currently by far the largest dungeon, and that's because it is basically a big flat space, because it has to account for players needing to take their time to get across.
Yeah.
So instead of having to go through a bunch of different doors in a big, like, circuitous path, you just have to run in a straight line in one place. But,
okay.
Yeah, the lore on this particular dungeon is that when Erinus made the creepers originally, they were a hell of a lot more powerful. So, like, the creepers that you typically encounter are, like, 500 generations down the line.
Oh, right, okay.
And Erinus had some help from a couple of the other gods, but now all of those gods are dead, and there is nothing to stop the original seeds of creepers from blossoming into this colossal bulb. So the creepers around here, for example, have way better camouflage, and most of them are invisible whenever they're standing on grass.
Oh, good lord.
So, in a place like this, kind of hard to find. So the idea is that you run around, you get sufficient items to, like, build yourself a custom armor set, and that armor set basically tricks this giant bulb into thinking that you're a creeper, so that you can pass into it and fight the boss and defeat the bulb and cleanse the area temporarily.
Oh, okay.
And that then gives them access to the next set of home islands.
Ah, which is not ready yet, then.
Well, no. All of the home islands are already in place, all of the resource islands are already in place, it's just the dungeons, basically, that need to be built each month.
Oh, but I mean, people don't have access to that one yet, though.
Oh, wait, no.
Ah.
Technically, they can fly there in spirit mode, because the world border doesn't kill you if you're in spectator, but they will die the instant that they come out of it.
That ruins the fun, anyway.
Yeah. Although I know some people have mapped out where they all are. But, yeah, I get a little bit of help on this stuff from Aeneas of Troy, who's one of my mods, but by and large, especially with Thanksgiving, this one's all me.
Fair enough. Alright, so is that everything then?
That is pretty much it for this tour, I think. Maybe you'll come back in a few months and we'll show off some new additions.
I would actually love to. Like, I genuinely love this idea Like, if this was just like a randomly open server, I would 100% be on this.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. And the lore just keeps going. Like, I have made it a habit that every single thing whose, like, loot table that I can check, like zombies, skeletons, creepers, everything, all of the items have lore.
Nice, I'm all about that lore.
Yeah, so let me see, I think the zombies, like, if you get a specific item from a zombie, it's different to if you get the same item from a zombie pigman. So you can you can sort of figure out where an item has come from based on its lore text.
Makes sense.
So I think for the rotten flesh from zombies, it's you can't help but think it looks vaguely tasty. Whereas for zombies, it tastes like bacon.
I'm kind of glad about that though, because like the fact within Minecraft, like creepers never explained or anything like that.
Oh yeah, I always liked the idea that there was some kind of apex predator plant.
It does make sense actually, yeah.
So yep, that is it. That is Erinus, and hopefully this will be opening very soon, like within the next week, if I can get everything finished quickly. But then we'll have the video out, I think, for this on the 7th. I can't recall exactly what my release dates are.
Release dates?
Yeah, I plan
Right.
I plan my videos ahead, simply.
I wouldn't expect anything more from you, less from you, sorry, to be honest.
So where can people find you, Andy, as though they didn't already know?
Well, to be honest, like we've done a lot of stuff together in here, but just in case, they can find me over on TheDragonHat over on YouTube. I do a lot of game mixed with voice work, basically.
Yeah.
And of course, on the streams on Saturday at 9 p.m. GMT, we delve into D&D.
Yes, and usually it's me making everyone else scream.
Yeah, which is nice.
It's me doing this, but with less blocks.
Pretty much.
Oh yeah, that's actually one little thing I realized. Actually, there is one little landmark around here that's really interesting that I did last. Right. I think I did this last episode. So there's this little meeting hut, and there's 3 little sitting places. There's a little flower at one end, and then there's the campfire over here.
Right.
Do you remember what the lore is about Erinus?
Vaguely, but remind me.
Erinus met with Basilla and Placitos, and planned to poison the well.
Oh, is this where that happened?
Yeah. This campfire is called the Conclave Seats.
Ah, okay.
So, like, you can go around the server and you'll occasionally find locations like this, which is just, this is a piece of, like, visual storytelling. Here is a thing where it happened.
Cool. Cool, okay. Sweet. So how would they find that out if they just, like, came along here and were like, oh, that's a nice hut. Wonder what happened.
Well, they'll come to the nice hut, they'll ignite this campfire, which has its own special, like, ritual to do, and then they'll see the name, and they'll remember Erinus, they'll know a bit of lore from Basilla's dungeon, they might have a bit of lore from the different enchanted books to know about how like, things went down, and they know that they have a fairly like, vague idea of the overall lore, but this just allows them to piece it together.
Figure it out. They have to figure it out very slightly. Nice.
Yeah,
cool.
they're as much as I possibly can, I avoid walls of text around here.
Oh, good, yeah. Well, awesome. I gotta say, I'm impressed. Like, genuinely, I'm impressed.
Well, I aim to please, right between the ribs.
Yeah, I've experienced with that. Speaking of which, I'm gonna have to get back to building my other character, because who knows what might happen.
Yeah, this is gonna be it's gonna be an interesting next session.
Yes, it will. I feel my face might be eaten off.
And with that, I hope you've all enjoyed, and I'll catch you all next time.
Goodbye!